All right, everybody. At long last, the video you've been asking me to make. This video is about understanding soul contracts between you and another person. It's not just knowing that there's this feeling I have that this person is really important to me, or there's some kind of, buzz or zhuzh, like I can't, why can't I quit you kind of energy. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to understand what's going on between you and another person through astrology. So get yourself your journal, get yourself, a cup of tea and some pencil and paper or whatever you need, because there's going to be a lot of information coming at you pretty fast. If you want to get a really good grounding in astrology, if this kind of video makes your head spin a little bit, I'm going to recommend my birth chart class to you. And we are doing a live version of it at the end of July. So if you want to grab that, even if it's self-paced, you have the opportunity to really get a good grounding in the information of a birth chart. So you can look at your own chart and see what's going on for you. And then this is really the important part with this video, is to look at how two people are compatible or interact with each other, how to see where they came from in terms of past lives, and then the relationship itself. So a synastry chart is the chart between two people. Basically, it lays the two charts over top of each other and you see how they interact. All right. A composite chart is the actual energy of the relationship, almost as a third entity. You and this other person create this relationship, and that composite chart will show you how you both interact within that relationship, what the lessons of that relationship are for both of you, not just for you or not just for them. All right. So get your chart, get your birth chart, and get their chart. So if you don't have your birth time, a lot of people ask me about this. If you don't have your birth time, you're going to have to work a little harder to try and get it. And you might have to ask family and friends, anybody who's been there. Your parents might be passed away. Okay, see if you can locate her best friend at the time, or you can talk with aunts and uncles. You can talk with older siblings who might have been around at the time. Try to narrow it down. There's also something called a long form birth certificate, which I used to obtain from hospitals regularly. It's public information. You can write for that to get your birth certificate, a long form birth certificate from the hospital you were born in. A lot of people's hospitals are no longer in service. Lots of things have happened in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s to hospitals. So that might not happen. But that's an opportunity. If you were born in a hospital that still exists, you might be able to get it from there. In other ways, or in other words, no, you need, or the regular birth chart comes from town hall. Okay. You would write to the town hall where you were born to obtain your birth certificate. Now, there are fair amounts of birth certificates that don't have the recorded time. So like I said, you might need to do some investigative work and ask people who might know if the doctor is still alive. That would be kind of awesome. You might want to reach out and see if you can find anybody who has anecdotal evidence about the time of day even that you were born in. The reason this is important is because a lot of what I'm going to be talking about has to do with your personal planets, sun and moon. They move, the moon moves really fast. Mercury and Mars, it goes super fast in the sky. Your ascendant can change every 2 hours. So if you don't have that birth time, your ascendant will not be at the exact place, and that will change the mapping of the whole chart. So I'm going to put some links in the description box to help you out with this. And then let's move on to the rest of the information. So I'm going to assume you have all that information. There's a link in the description box for the free chart casting service that we recommend. It's free, absolutely free. There's a couple choices in there for you, depending on the aesthetics and what you like, what you want to look at, and how the information shows up for you. You might want to be like, oh, I don't like that one. I'm going to try another one. So give it a shot. It's whatever feels comfortable for you, because I want you to get comfortable with that chart. I want you to be able to feel like you can see what's going on in the houses, where the planets are, and how they are interacting with each other. Because that's really the key to this information today, is how the planets interact with each other. the planets or the points in the sky that I'm going to talk about, the mathematical points. Okay. Now, we're really going to be talking about 3 things that are definite indicators of past life connection, soul contracts. The first thing is your ascendant, which is why I'm telling you that birth charts and birth times really matter. Your ascendant. The second thing I'm going to talk about is North Node, South Node, particularly South Node. Okay. And the third thing I'm going to talk about is Pluto. Pluto is a karmic planet, and it is something that definitely indicates karmic connections. Okay. So let's get started right now with the ascendant. All right. Let's first talk about your ascendant or your rising sign. And your ascendant or rising sign is the moment in time when you first enter life. It's that point on your astrology chart that is right at 9 o'clock. If you're looking at the astrology chart, it's right there at 9 o'clock. It is the moment in time when you breathed your first breath. Okay. That maps the entire chart. Okay. Because your ascendant will, wherever degree it is in, I'm 29 degrees Libra. So at 29 degrees Libra, that is my ascendant. And that's where the map of my birth chart starts. And then it goes all the way around to the 12th house, right? We start at 29 degrees Libra. So most of my first house is in what? In Scorpio. I know. But that first house, the ascendant, it's ruled by Libra. So look at your ascendant and know that that's the window you came in through. And so guess what? It's the window from where you came. It's a great way to look and see what your past life was all about. Here's the way you do that. Just for your own purposes. This is not about soul contracts with other people, but for you, take a look at your rising sign. Like I said, mine is 29 degrees Libra. And look at the previous sign. So for me, that's Virgo. And that is what my last life was about. The last life that was relevant to this life. So it might have been 100 lifetimes ago that I was living life as a Virgo life. And Virgo life is all about routine, day to day. It could be, a lot of people feel like a Virgo lifetime is something that's just about putting in the time and punching the clock and doing that kind of stuff. And that's right. That could have been my last life. It could have been all about that. That was important. The routine of it. That's what my last life that was relevant to this life was about. So that's just your own personal ascendant and how you can see the past lives that were relevant to you in this lifetime. But when we're looking at the ascendant with another person in a synastry chart or in a composite chart, the chart of the relationship, that ascendant needs an aspect to something in their chart to make it be activated. So if we're talking about the ascendant as a window into past life, then if they have a personal planet that is aspecting your ascendant, so any personal planet, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus, and their ascendant and also their North Node or South Node, if any of those things are in conjunction, square, or opposition to your ascendant, there's a past life that's relevant to this life. Okay. And it may just show you that, hey, we came from the same place, or we had a similar kind of upbringing, or there's something in the ascendant connection that you need to know about. And it will be related to that person's planet. So if their sun is conjunct your ascendant, that means they're right on top of each other, then their personal lifetime, this lifetime may have something to do with what you did in your life last time. Okay. Whatever the planet is, their personal planet and your ascendant, it's showing you what they are, how they might be connected to a past life of yours. Kind of a general experience, not super karmic necessarily, because you can have a lot of soulmates, you can have a lot of soul contracts, but this person definitely had some kind of soul contract or soul lifetime with you in the past. So their sun, moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus in aspect to your ascendant, meaning conjunction, square, or opposition. Any of the other aspects, sextiles, quintiles, semi-sextile, all of that stuff is less strong of an indicator. That could have been just an acquaintance in a past life or something like that. And also the orb matters. So the orb, when you look on your birth chart, when you look on and you see the ascendant, oh, my ascendant conjunct their moon, and it says orb 3 degrees, orb 5 degrees, orb 8 degrees. The tighter the orb, the stronger the relationship was. So if it was 0 degrees, if their moon is sitting right on top of your ascendant, orb 0 degrees, it's right there, then they likely had some kind of feeling connection to you in a past life. So it was more than just, hey, we existed, we went to school together, or, we worked in the same building together, or, right? It was a stronger connection. So 0 degrees makes it a stronger connection. If then it goes out to 1, 2, and 3 degrees, when it gets to kind of 3 degrees, either way, it's getting a lot weaker. So it may not be a big deal. You might have just been acquaintances. Okay. But the ascendant will show you there's likely some past life buzz here. There's some kind of connection. Okay. And so that's the first thing to look at is your ascendant in aspect to, conjunction, square, opposition, to a personal planet of theirs. Sun, moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus, right? Or this point of north node, south node, or their ascendant. Okay. So that's the first thing to look at. The second thing to look at is north node and south node. All right. Your north node and your south node, are they talking to, that's what an aspect means, that they're that point, right? North node and south node are not planets. They are mathematical points on the ellipsis of your moon. And it is an important karmic element in your chart because it maps and shows you your roadmap in this life. North node is the direction, the karmic direction for you in this lifetime. Some people resist it like crazy. South node is where you came from, past life. Okay, south node is a big past life indicator. So if your north node and north node are kind of working together, that's kind of nice. You do have some kind of karmic interaction in this life. So north node conjunct north node, north node, opposition, north node square of their north node. Okay. Like that's about this life, but it's really about the south node. Okay. So your soul contracts are revealed in past life interactions, and south node shows what you came through with, what relevant past life and what tools or what capabilities or what expressions of your energy were you in a past life. And these are things that were important for you to bring into this life. So if your south node is conjunct, square, or opposing that other person's south node, for sure, there's a past life contract here. This basically says, what are the things that we came from our past life into this life with that we can work together on, that we have some kind of simpatico with, that we have some kind of interaction with in a past life. So you may be a little confused. You may be looking at it and be like, south node. Okay, theirs is in Taurus, 4th house, and mine's in Capricorn in the 2nd house. It doesn't seem to have as much, kind of resonance or interaction with each other. But that's because you're bringing different things to the table. So it's okay for those things to work like that. Okay, it's really okay. North node and south node, I'll talk more about this when I get to the twin flame videos that I'm going to make about understanding your karmic path with twin flames, especially. But south node for me, south node is a big indicator of a past life connection when you have aspect to another person, particularly either a north node or south node aspecting your south node or Venus or Mars. If their Venus is aspecting your south node, that's a huge indicator of a past life love. Okay. If their Mars is aspecting, meaning square conjunction, opposition. Those are the three strongest ones. Okay. If you have that in your chart, you see it in Synastry chart, you're like, oh my God, look at that. Their Venus is conjunct my South Node. It's right on top of it. Their Mars is square to my South Node. Square to South Node, Mars square to South Node in past life likely means you were enemies. Okay. That could be the soul contract that you end up having to tease out. But that's definitely an indicator of a past life. Those personal planets in aspect to your South Node, especially Venus and Mars, are really showing off a past life contract. Okay. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is Pluto. So Pluto is a karmic planet by very definition. It is a super slow moving generational planet. So people born right around your same year will have a very similar Pluto aspect. If you're born within 5 years of each other, it hardly moves. It takes 247 years to go all the way around the 360-degree zodiac. So when Pluto is conjunct, it doesn't really mean anything because most people within 5 years of either side of your birth time have a conjunction. And you can have that with a whole generation of people. So it doesn't really mean anything in terms of karmic contracts between you and another person. It can indicate karmic contracts of a generational nature. Okay, but that's another video. So I'll get more into Pluto in a future video. This is going to be a couple of like a series of videos. So I just want to give you what to look for, and then we'll go deeper in other videos about what it means. Okay. I'll try to give you a general sense of what it means in this video. But Pluto in your chart in aspect, meaning it's an angle to or on top of other planets. Mostly the planets that we're talking about are again, the personal planets. Sun, Moon, your rising sign, right? Which is not a planet, which is a point on your birth chart, but Sun, Moon, rising, Venus, Mercury, Mars. Okay. We can talk about Jupiter and Saturn. We'll talk about them at another time, but those personal planets in aspect to, meaning it's either on top of, conjunction, it's in square to, there's a 90-degree square, or in opposition, there's definitely past life karma with this person that is of a transformational nature, the likes you have never seen. If you have some hard aspects to Pluto, especially squares, that means this person can be a destructive force in your life. This person can be somebody who comes rolling through your life and changes you in some very important way that you never saw coming. So I really want to do a whole video about Pluto because it is such an important planet. It is such an important karmic planet. Now, in a Synastry chart, if you have Sun, Moon, Mars, Venus, Mercury, right, and Ascendant, North Node, South Node, if you have any of those in conjunction, square, or opposition to Pluto, there's a past life contract for sure. Okay. That's in the composite chart, in the Synastry chart. In the composite chart, like I said before, is the chart of the relationships. The composite chart with Pluto, if you have a bunch of aspects to Pluto with those personal planets, right? It's basically showing you what that relationship is teaching you both. You're both getting this energy. But in a Synastry chart, the Pluto person might not really feel a lot of this. Pluto person might not really, Pluto is a very obsessive, controlling kind of energy, but it's also, it also can be so far removed from somebody's experience that they're not really, it's very subconscious. It's very subterranean. If they are not awake to this, they might not even recognize what's happening. Okay. They might not know, why are you freaking out? What is this? Why is this such a big deal? What's going on here? If you are noticing that you have a Pluto aspect to an important person in your life, to a husband, wife, to a potential love, this relationship is definitely in karmic nature, and it's going to teach the planet person, meaning the sun, the moon, the Venus person, way more, and can be in a fairly destructive way, rather than the Pluto person. The Pluto person may not really be impacted all that much. If you see Pluto aspects in the composite, then both of you are learning, but not in the Synastry chart. If it's the Pluto person may not recognize things. So a lot of you, I'll talk about this when we're talking about twin flame more in depth, but a lot of you have asked me, why is it that my twin flame doesn't really feel this as much as I do? Why do they seem not to care? Why do they seem not to be so bowled over by this connection? That's probably why. It can be something called a Plutonic relationship. And that's something I did a whole class on. Bing. Okay. And this is about how to work with that Pluto energy. Sometimes you might just want to walk away from this person. You might just want to say, you know what, this is going to be a destructive thing for me. And it can be that the lesson is to walk away, right? You don't have to get in the mix with this person. You have to get in the ring with this person in order to learn the lesson. Sometimes the lesson is, I choose not to damage myself. I choose not to go down this road that's going to be very hurtful or harmful to me. Okay. So composite Pluto, you're teaching each other. Synastry Pluto, the planet person is the one that really gets the lesson. The Pluto person may or may not even feel it. Not that much anyway. Before I go, I want to talk a little bit about the house and the sign. Okay. So the house and the sign of the composite Pluto. What I just said to you about the relationship, the composite chart is the chart of the relationship. The composite Pluto location, the house and the sign, describes the prior life and evolutionary intent of the connection. So in your past life, in this composite chart, what house is it in and what sign is it in? And you can tell what the shared learnings have been from the past life and where you left off. So in your composite chart, look at the Pluto energy and look and see what house and sign it's in. Now that can be for a relationship that's a big deal or not a big deal. But either way, it's kind of nice to know about that. So if you want more information about how to understand houses and signs and how all this stuff works together, I am doing a basic astrology class, which will help you. I'll put that in the description box. If I can't put it up here, I'll put it in the description box. So if you come along and learn more about astrology, I'll also be making a lot more videos over the course of this next 6 weeks. We are going to focus on past life, soul contracts, and how to understand that in astrology. I'll go deep into a lot of these aspects. This is an overview video of how to understand if there are any, okay, in your chart with another person. I hope this has been helpful for you. I'd love to hear more. If you're part of Pathfinders and you come in on the Thursday lives, I'd love to hear your experience of your past life learning in this video, from this video with another person. All right. See you later. All right. I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.